guys hear now? Okay, can you hear me okay? Sorry, talking to the witness. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
All right, very good. Go ahead and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is true and accurate?
I do.
All right, thank you. Mr. Jorde.
Thank you. Will you please state your name?
My name is Nancy Johnson.
And I understand your family holds real estate in Cherokee County that is currently targeted by the Summit Carbon Solutions Hazardous Pipeline. Is that right?
Yes.
And in this matter, pre-filed testimony has been submitted with a handful of, well, actually, yes, with a handful of exhibits and attachments. If we were to walk through all of that, would the answers provided there be the same as they were at that time?
Yes, they are.
All right. With that, I would offer Exhibit 508 and 509.
No objection. No objections. The board will admit. Give it the way due.
All right. Did you, ma'am, have any correction or clarifications that you believe are necessary before other folks ask you questions?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And as I guess that was a compound question. Do you have any errors that should be corrected? Let's start there first.
No errors.
Okay. Then let's go to clarifications or updates, I should say.
I'm speaking on behalf of my mom and dad, who are Nels W. Johnson and Joyce Carol Johnson. And my dad is currently in a care facility, and my mom is with him. So I am acting as their representative and arbiter.
Very good, and I appreciate that. I should have mentioned that. Beyond that, were there any factual issues or corrections that you believe needed to be made in the underlying testimony, the substance of the testimony?
No, the only thing that I see within the testimony that would be different is the state of their health currently. Otherwise, everything else I've read through multiple times, and it is all same situation for how they feel.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Well, with that, ma'am, I'm going to see if any other folks have questions for you. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Tender the witness.
Mr. Taylor.
Thank you. Ma'am, I'm Wally Taylor. I represent the Sierra Club. And first of all, do you have an ownership interest in this property?
I do not anymore, but this was originally purchased in 2006 as a family partnership, and we had just dissolved that this last year.
But you are being asked by your parents to represent them in this proceeding. Is that fair?
Yes, that's fair and correct.
In the written prepared testimony that was filed, there was a statement that the trenching for the pipeline would bring up rocks. Do you know why that's significant, or how that impacts the land as far as the pipeline is concerned?
Yes, of course I do. When we purchased this farm in 2006, the prior owners of it had not taken very good care of the land, and therefore we had a lot of rocks that we had to pick up off the upper area, and especially across where the pipeline itself is slated to go. Many hours of rocks being picked up by myself, my husband at the time, my parents, my kids also. So we've spent multiple years just doing what we need to do and trying to get the land in good production. When rocks come up, they have a tendency to damage equipment when you disc it or plant it. So anytime there's rocks in any of our ground, we make a good effort to be sure we get them out.
I gathered from the written testimony there's drain tile on this property.
Yes, my dad and mom both are very big conservationists. They are both active on the NRCS committee, or I guess not committee, but NRCS office out of Iowa County. And my dad has been in conservation for as long as I know. He actually received a Siouxland Conservation Award back in 1980. He still has a sign up at his farm. Because of that, he has always believed in tiling and terracing and doing contour farming. So in addition to the rock removal, there have been multiple tiles placed on this particular farm, especially that all start kind of in the northeast corner and then drain down into the waterways.
The written testimony expressed concern that the tile would be damaged by the pipeline and not repaired. What makes you think that, first of all, the tile would be damaged and then it would not be repaired?
Well, anytime you go through those areas and as deep as they are, the tile doesn't lay that low, so you're going to be potentially disrupting the ground there anyways. So if the tile, which is made of that hard plastic, gets severed, a repair there is only going to create more of a leak because it's very sensitive to that, and the breakdown would only be accelerated by that.
Are you aware that Summit has said that they will bury the pipe at least 2 feet below the tile?
I am not aware of that information.
Does that give
I'm
you
sure
any,
my parents are, but I am not.
does that give you any comfort?
Well, what gives me comfort is knowing that I'm here to testify, because this honestly has, and you haven't gotten there yet, has caused serious health issues for both of my parents. So if we can rectify it for their sake, that would be what's most valuable to me and my children.
The written testimony also makes the claim that installing the pipeline would decrease the fertility of the soil and the crop yield. Now, what makes you think that that's the case?
Due to the fact that my dad's been big in conservation, he's always instilled it in us about the layers of soil. Being from Buena Vista County over here in Storm Lake, we had the pipeline go through here recently, well, not recently, but within the last 10 years. And to see where the land was and to see it with my own eyes, how the crops have come back, and to have talked to the actual pipeliners who took the soil out. Once you remove that soil, you really can't put it back in the same manner it was taken out, even if you try your best. And it's not that they aren't trying their best, but you just can't put together something that has been shattered as such. With that in mind, whenever you move that soil up and around, you are losing that good topsoil. And as I said, with my dad doing the contour farming and the terracing and such, he has worked very hard to get the farm as fertile as he possibly can. And this isn't the first farm he's done that on. He's taken quite a few pieces of ground and increased their fertility by doing good contour practices and good conservation practices as well, with many tiles.
Do you see the map on the screen there?
Yes.
Okay. The red portion apparently is your property or your parents' property?
Yes.
At the top of the parcel is a green area that kind of snakes along the northern border. What is that?
The first part is a low-lying area. You actually come in, there's a lane that comes right into that. That is a piece of ground headlands that they've used. Right along the very top portion is an area in which there are power lines with big posts along that whole top border there, electrical lines. And then they go down into the other side there, which is waterways.
So that green curvy area is a waterway?
Yes, it ends up being a waterway, but across the top one that hits right on the border of our land there is an area where there are electrical lines with big tall electrical posts.
Is there any CRP land on your property?
No. Okay. It's just headlands that we have chosen to bail or allow for wildlife.
Did you ever talk to any Summit agents about an easement on the property or an alternative route, or did they always talk to your parents?
They've always talked to my parents, and according to their testimony, they said they've only spoken to one time in person.
So you don't know whether or not there was any discussion with Summit about an alternative route?
No, I don't know that there was a discussion about an alternative route. However, on one of the attachments, they do show an alternative route offered, since the neighbors north of there have given their permission. So the alternate route would be to just simply go around that corner of our farm.
Okay, so in other words, north of your property, head east, and then on the east side of your property, head south again. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes. If it has to go, that would be our I guess. He doesn't want it no matter what. I'll be honest. 92-year-old first generation farmer. He's not looking for it, and I understand exactly why now, especially after listening to a lot of the testimony. But if it does have to go, the request is that it goes around our property.
Thank you. That's all the questions I have.
Okay, Ms. Coles?
Good afternoon. I'm Jean Colas. I'm also a landowner. So you say that Summit provided your father with an alternate route opposite of what this Exhibit H or the TMC shows? KMC.
I'm just simply saying that on this piece of paper, there was an alternate route written out for an alternate thing. I'm not sure that Summit offered this. This is the only thing that it says, alternate route for NWJ Farms.
You indicated that your father's health was affected by this proposed pipeline. In what manner?
My dad, since learning of this, has become very stressed about this. He's been in really good health, and last harvest was not this year, but the harvest of 2022 was his last harvest. Is that by choice? No, it was by circumstance. He was unable to put crops in this spring either. His stress level and his lack of sleep has led to serious health issues for him that have been affecting his heart, his mental state, and now just recently, as of September 21st, he experienced a severe stroke. And this is all he's talked about for the last year and a half, is making sure that his ground is protected. And I didn't understand why until I started listening today. I mean, I know his ground means a lot to him, but as a conservationist, as a first-generation American and someone who has worked the land and grown his farm for his children, who he became and then who my mom had to become to help care for him, to the point that Dr. Wesley Parker out of Cherokee said to my dad firsthand, basically, you've got to stop worrying about the farm. And my dad said, this farm is my life. The use of the land is for crop production, not easy money. And it's been that case at every doctor's appointment. What's wrong today? Why are we failing in health? And my dad says, it's that Summit carbon pipeline.
Is he against the pipeline because of the risk and hazards associated with it?
Yes.
So he's done his own investigation as a result of all this stress and pressure out of it.
Yes. He has spent every waking moment he's had, and in fact not been able to sleep at night because he's simply just unable to let it go. It's honestly been every moment of the last year and a half. I've watched my mom and dad both become, and I don't want to say obsessed, but yet obsessed with protecting something that they feel so very strongly about.
They don't feel that a private company for their own profit should have eminent domain over their property.
No, they never have, no matter what. And I'm 50 years old, and I can tell you that's all I've ever heard throughout driving across the state of Iowa. There's no reason for eminent domain.
Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you.
Ms. Greenhagen?
Ms. Jensen, do you go by Jensen or Johnson?
I took my maiden name back, so I'm Johnson.
Okay. So Ms. Johnson, my name is Chris Greenhagen. I'm with the Iowa Farm Bureau. And I just have a question regarding drainage tile. On page 2 of your parents' testimony, they mentioned there's drain tile on this property. Do you know where that is located approximately?
Yes. When you come across the line and come down, as if you were to take that triangle, at the top of that point, the middle point of the pipeline, that's the high point of the farm. So tile will run from that high point down all avenues, but mainly to go to the southeast and down straight to the southwest, where that waterway is there, as well as down. Basically, my dad, I'll be honest, my dad goes crazy with tiles. If you looked at this, it'd probably look like a spider that has 15 other legs. He does. He believes in tiles, and he believes in the mechanics of it. So I can simply tell you that, yes, there's tile there. It drains to all the waterways. There's probably 5 different outlets where we always would have to check and see if water was draining.
So would there be tile lines that would intersect with the proposed pipeline route?
Absolutely.
Do your parents or you happen to have a map of the tile? Even if it's
my parents would. Yeah, my parents would. I do not, though.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Ms. Height?
Hello, Ms. Johnson. I'm Chris Hike. I'm a landowner. Question, I see in your testimony that you're a former ethanol plant shareholder in the Quad County corn producers.
Yes, correct.
And did you sell your shares? Or?
My dad couldn't get out of that fast enough. After the way he saw it go, he just said, I need to part ways, so he got rid of his shares. And again, he does not like being associated with something that has financial risk.
Understandable. And what's the closest town to your to the parcel of land here?
Quimby.
And how far is that?
Quimby. It would be about 3 miles.
Miles. They have a EMT and fire department?
They do.
Volunteer?
Volunteer.
Okay.
Volunteer.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. There's no other questions. Mr. Jorde for redirect.
In regards to your, parents' health, I think you stated that you believe and they believe it's directly related to the stress and the worry that this project and the potential use of eminent domain against them has had on them. Is that right?
Yes, 100%.
All right. I don't have anything further, ma'am. I appreciate your time.
Yep, thank you, guys.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. You are dismissed. Mr. Jorde, next witness.
Yes, Kent Pickrell, who should be virtual as well.
And just for clarification, will we have George and Kent, or is it just Kent?
My understanding, it's just Kent.
Okay. Thank you.